The community of Uvalde today still reacting to leaked surveillance footage from Robb Elementary showing what police did and did not do during the mass shooting at the school. KXAN investigator Avery spoke with a national school security expert who reviewed that video leaked to the Austin American-Statesman to get his take on what it shows.
Talk to me about what your initial reaction when that video ended was.
The video raises some troubling questions about incident command, unified command, who was in charge. And the video suggests that there was a lack of incident command, a lack of unified command, people not knowing what to do. And oftentimes we hear departments say, well, it's a small department when we talk about this incident. And being a small department is not an excuse for not acting and training. In fact, if you have a small police department, whether it's a school district police department or community-based police department, it is more the reason to train it.
What were the cues in that video that you saw that showed that there was a lack of understanding of who was incident command?
The fact that you had officers standing still, not moving, some people directing them to stand back while others are moving forward and appear to want to go ahead, people who are going forward, coming back. There just appeared to be a general chaos in the hallway with people not knowing what to do, and those who appeared to be prepared and know what to do appeared to be held back or restrained, or at least confused by everything else that was going on around them with officers who were standing still. You would see officers coming in equipped, ready to make a tactical move, and actually have to go past other officers who were standing still, one officer directing others to stand back and not move forward when they were trying to move forward. There should be a clear, smooth, unified incident command so that there is clear leadership, there's clear direction, and that officers are moving in the same direction, or at least getting the same guidance from someone who's in charge. And we just didn't see that. It appeared to be a free-for-all with people either not moving at all, not knowing what to do, or trying to make a move forward, but not being on the same page with others in the hallway. There are a lot of questions that are going to have to be answered. And I have to say that having worked for more than 3 decades in the field, the communications aspect of this, what's being communicated to the public, the mixed messages, the finger pointing, is one of the worst scenarios I've ever seen in 3 decades of working in this field of school safety. The emergency itself, the active shooter incident itself is going to be chaotic. The aftermath is going to require a detailed investigation, but you need to have crisis communications plans and emergency communications mechanisms in place so that you can get chunks of accurate information out to the public, but making sure that those chunks are accurate, that you're transparent, and then you're updating them. And you have to have a communications plan so that you're getting accurate, transparent information out as you learn it, and you're not dealing with finger pointing, misinformation, and confusion that's going to create more anxiety and angst to those families who've already suffered losses and are trying to deal with the emotional aspect and trauma of the loss of their kids.